In just a moment, Coach Brooks will be stepping up to the podium with an opening statement, and then he'll take your questions. Let's remember to stay muted until you're called upon, and as always, no streaming or recording devices. Coach Brooks.
Yeah, thanks a lot there, James. Best in the business, SID over there. I'd like to start with an opening statement. First of all, at the beginning of the year, everybody wants to be here, right? Everybody wants to be at the end of the season with an opportunity to cover a national title. That's what we have here at the Film Guy Network. We're extremely proud of our guys for the efforts that they put forth this season, and extremely, extremely proud to be representing the Film Guy Network here at the Orange Bowl. With that, I'll open up the floor to questions.
All right, guys, I'll call on these questions two at a time. We'll open up with Jeremiah, followed by Rudes.
Hey, Coach, this is Jeremiah speaking. I just wanted to know, what is the most rewarding thing about covering the sport?
Oh, that's a really good question, Jeremiah. I think most importantly, right, it's being able to impact young men, right, to be able to impact young lives, and even the lives of our readers, right? That's what we aspire to every single day. We go out, we work hard, we attempt to impact lives, right, and attempt to change lives around the landscape. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that this year. I know, some hits, some misses, some things we could change. But most importantly, at the end of the day, we like to say that we covered the team the best that we could and went about it with a tremendous amount of effort and some proper execution. Great question, Jeremiah.
Yeah, Coach, this is Roots. In today's age of coverage, George, when information is at a premium, but access is at a minimum. How do you win your job? How do you get what you need to do your job correctly?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for anybody else, and I'll keep a limited amount of details here. But I do want to say that the other coaches on the beat, man, they do a tremendous job. They work really, really hard. We got a lot of respect for those guys over here with the Film Guy Network. But in terms of what we do, how we go about our business, how we go about our lives over at the Film Guy Network, it's more about just putting the horse blinders on, focusing on what we can focus on, controlling what we can control. And like I said earlier, man, that starts with attitude and effort every single day. And that's what we approach. That's how we approach it here. We don't worry about what everybody else is doing. We don't worry about what the narrative is outside of the building. We focus on what we can handle and what we can control here at the Film Guy Network. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Dan, followed by Justin.
Coach Dan Kiley over here, Coach. You have a tendency to refer to players and recruits as jokers. Could you elaborate to me what a joker is?
Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, it's just nomenclature. I actually picked it up from a previous coach of mine at another stop. I don't really know why it is or what it is I call kids while I'm calling them. I get heated in the moment, and sometimes you just black out and things just happen, right? The terms come out like joker. I think, honestly, Dan, to be 100% with you, I think it's more about me just making sure in today's modern age of PC culture and making sure that kids aren't offended by what it is that you call them, that joker is kind of just a normal, nice, solid term to use for young men these days. So that's what I use. I mean, it just is what it is. I can't even remember where it is that it came from.
Great, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. This is Justin. Someone stole my question earlier, so I've got a couple of questions, two-part questions.
Oh, Lord.
First one, so how do you evaluate your staff to make sure you have the riders you think will give you the best chance to win? And then second part, what's your favorite Christmas food?
He knows how to get to my heart. Food question, we'll attack that first, rather. Favorite Christmas food for me, it's a mac and cheese. I think a mac and cheese is a year-round food. You know what I mean? It's very versatile. You can play it at multiple different holidays. As far as how we go about evaluating our staff, it's no different than anybody else, right? You sit down, you evaluate the tape. You try to take it from a 360 bird's eye view. Don't want to be too critical. Don't want to be too harsh. Don't want to be too positive, right? It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. That's kind of the way we approach it and kind of how we grade out our riders, if you will.
All right, we got Jeremiah and Rudes following.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can hear him. Yep.
My bad. All right, I got a question for you. I got another food question following up for that, man. I just had a predicament today. I forgot my card
at the house. I went out to eat. I only had $5 in my wallet, man. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anybody to go to, so I just ended up coming back home. I got to know what your suggestion would be if you only have $5 and you were hungry.
You know,
know what you got to do,
it's nice not to get a journo question every once in a while. Let's see, $5, right? We got to break it down into a multitude of categories here, right? Are we going bang for our buck, or are we trying to get a variety of foods, right? If I'm going bang for my buck, probably going to hit up a Wendy's, right? Go with a regular double quarter, right? If I'm trying to get a variety, going to hit up Cookout for a cookout tray. It's all about which game you're trying to win that day, how you can go about executing, which gives you a best chance to win.
Coach.
I got the next one. Austin over here. So
Hold on. You don't call Coach Prime Dion, do you?
Come again, Austin. What was that?
I said you don't call Coach Prime Dion, do you? I would appreciate it if you call me Coach Brooks moving forward.
All right, Coach Brooks. 10-4. Coach. So please tell us, what's your process of molding these high schoolers as they come in as young men and bring them up to the speed of college football and really show them, what their talent is capable of?
That's a good question. What's your name, young man?
This is Rude, sir. Coach Brooks.
That's right. Who do you work for?
The Red and Black.
The Red and Black. So it's a great question, young man. Impacting young lives. What we started with, right? That's what it's all about here. That's how we work. That's how we operate at the Film Guy Network. And honestly, that's what we want our business and our program to be about, right? Taking care of the little guys, taking care of the guy next to you, right? Being a family, and most importantly, right? Impacting young lives as much as you can on a day-to-day basis. That's what it is. Jamie, can you close us out, please, sir?
We got two more. We got Justin followed by Dan.
Yeah, so this one may be a sticky question here, but there are rumors that you steal your nugs, as you call them, and content from other boards. Any comment on those rumors?
It's what I talked about a little bit earlier. I mean, first of all, no comment on any allegations. First of all, they're pure blasphemous. I'll say that. My attorney has led me to told me to no comment after that. But nonetheless, we focus on what we do at the Film Guy Network. Again, horse blinders. We're trying to focus on the task, keynote in on the task at hand. Don't worry about everybody else. We worry about what we can control, which is the Film Guy Network. Not worried about what everybody else is doing. Not worried about other people's content, right? We're worried about ours, producing the best content that we can possibly produce.
Coach Brooks, this is Dan again. I have a several question for you. You take a lot of great pride in your quality information that you present to everybody. So when you're taking that much pride and putting that information out and you make sure it's accurate, how do you handle when you're trolling through Twitter and these Florida folks are out here saying you don't know what you're talking about? How do you handle that?
It's more of that outside noise, Dan, to be honest with you. I mean, when it comes to rival fan bases, right, you got to understand where you are in life, which in our case, we are covering the University of Georgia, right? Which comes with really, really passionate SEC fans and really, really passionate opposing fan bases, right? So you got to expect to see Florida fans in your mentions as a person in my line of business. But here's the way I look at it, Dan. If we're not ruffling feathers, if we're not making the other competition feel a little bit nervous, we're not doing our job. We're not going about creating the best level of product that we possibly can. You follow me? So that's the way I look at it. The outside noise is the outside noise. The outside narrative is going to get driven. We focus on what we can, and we control what we can control. I appreciate you guys for being here today.
Looks like we got time for two more. So with that, we're going to open it up.
More? Here we go.
Oh. Coach.
Yeah,
Coach. Hey. One at a time. Jamie, one at a time. Can we get one?
Hey, Coach.
Can we get one?
Coach. Yeah, Ryan Mell.
Yes, Ryan Mell.
Coach, in this day and age with social media, how is using things like Twitter Spaces helped your coverage, interacting with your readers during the season?
Yeah, especially nowadays with COVID, right? There's not a lot of opportunities for us to get out on the road, right? Get that face-to-face, consumer to customer, or rather provider to customer type of interaction, Twitter Space is a great place for us to have the opportunity to do that, right? Similar to a Zoom, but Twitter Space, just the audio medium. It's very, very beneficial for us to be able to, maybe potentially mow through some callers, things like that. Those are all beneficial to the brand. I appreciate the question, Ryan.
Coach,
We got time for the last one.
A quick question, Coach. What do you need from your team to be successful for the rest of the week going into this round of playoffs?
Just effort and consistency. I mean, it's just keep the main thing, right? I mean, a lot of people, you don't want to make it too big of a moment, right? We prepare for these things, 51 weeks out of the year. This week is no different for us. We just got to go out, and it's always about execution. It's about going out and producing and getting the shots up, right? You got to hit your layups. You got to hit your open shots, your standard content. But outside of that, man, it's all about getting the shots up. Get as many as we can up in the air. All right. Appreciate you guys being here today. Well, there you have it, folks. Coach Austin Brooks proving yet again that even media members can give you loads and loads of coach speak during a press conference. He had a lot of great things to say, though. I mean, it is always about execution in whatever line of work you're doing, right? It is about building a family and impacting young lives, I guess, if you're covering media. It's also about taking shots in the media, getting shots up, but taking shots. Some of them long range, some of them might not hit, right? Some of them might not hit. All right. We do have NBR, a little bit of NBR before we get into some film study. Final film study here on the public forum, at least in terms of public YouTube consumption. We will have more film studies over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. If you want to holler at that over on patreon.com, we will have an offensive Michigan film study breakdown over there. Tonight, we're going to close the show with a little bit of Ajabo and Hutchinson film study. In particular, just those two guys that we're going to take a look at tonight. I think it's very, very important that Georgia handles those guys properly come Friday if they're going to have any type of success offensively, because I would imagine at some point Michigan will commit to stopping the run and forcing Georgia to throw the football. So when that happens, they're going to have to protect. I thought they did a really good job against Will Anderson in that Alabama unit. This is a little bit different considering there are two of those guys now over there. So, or at least two dominant edge rushers on the outside, whereas Alabama and some other teams that Georgia has faced this year has just had that one superstar, right? That one Will Anderson, not two of them. So interesting film study coming for you at the end. But as always, we do have an NBR for you at least once a week. That's Nothing But Rants, the show where I bring you topics that I'm rather passionate about, and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about, like this one. I do not, for the life of me, understand why Georgia fans are just not all of you. I shouldn't say all of you. I don't understand why a lot of Georgia fans are pretty much giving up on the season because you saw one mediocre to poor performance from Stetson Bennett, not realizing that it wasn't just a mediocre to poor performance from your quarterback. It was a historically bad for this unit performance from your defense, right? You had untimely errors and untimely mistakes, not from your quarterback, right? You busted routes twice on consecutive third and mediums, third and shorts, keynote downs in a possession or in a portion of the game where Alabama's scoring at will. Okay, so you bust routes, you turn the ball over in inopportune times, you turn it over in the red zone, right? Some of those are quarterback issues, but the quarterback didn't give up 441 points. The quarterback didn't give up almost 400, I think 400 plus yards passing, right? These things can be changed. There's still a recipe for success for the University of Georgia if they see Alabama down the road. And guess what? The stylistic matchups, right? Michigan wanting to do what Georgia does, those stylistic pairings, those clashing of styles, those things historically under Kirby Smart have favored the Georgia Bulldogs. When your game plan is to come in and say, we're just going to play bully ball, we're going to line up, control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, run the ball, take the air out of the ball, and control you, keep everything in front. When you try to do that, Georgia wins. They do that better than you. They control the line of scrimmage better than you. They run the ball historically better than you. They stop the run better than you, right? They limit turnovers better than you. They limit mistakes better than you. This conservative, dominant, physical brand of football that both of these teams play, Georgia on paper and over a 13-game sample size has done it at a higher rate against tougher competition than Michigan. Okay, so historically, again, these things match up in your favor. So this notion that all hope is lost because you had one bad game from Stetson Bennett, this notion is fugazi. It's fake. It's something that you've created in your mind because you have this weird relationship with hope, and I understand that, and we get that, right? SEC Shorts have made a bunch of money this year off of playing off of Georgia fans' hopefulness. I understand that. But you just can't give it all up once one bad thing happens, right? You can't just quit on one guy because one bad thing happens. Guess who told you that today? Your offensive coordinator, right? Your offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, sat up there and said the larger body of sample size tells us that Stetson gives us the best chance to win. You can call him a liar all you want. I believe him. Okay, it's your offensive coordinator. He has no reason to lie. He also has no reason to not play the best player that is available. So the best player available in their mind, with all the knowledge that they have collected, is Stetson Bennett. So roll with that, right? Roll with that and be comfortable with that. And not only be comfortable with that, be comfortable winning in the necessary way that decision now requires you to do. Okay, I've come on this network and I've told you over and over and over again that when you play Alabama, if you play Alabama in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, whatever it is, they're going to force you to throw the football 40 plus times. That's what history says. Well, maybe this defense and this offense at its efficiency rate, when it's actually performing like it should be, maybe this is the football team and this is the brand of football that can force Alabama into a 28-21 college football playoff game. I'm not saying anyone has ever done it because they haven't. You've had to score 37.7 points per game to win college football playoff games over the 7 spans. Over the 7 years, which is what, 14, 15 games? Over the 14, 15 college football playoff games, the victor has scored 37 points. But maybe this defense and this football team that was scoring 37 points per game, right, this year, 38, 39 points per game this year, and limiting teams under 10, maybe this is the team that can do that. I don't know. But it looks to me like Georgia's shaping up and attempting to try. So all I'm saying is you can be critical of it, right? You can say this isn't the way we need to be trying to play football. But what I'm saying is this is the way they think they can play the best, and it's gotten them to a college football playoff. So instead of being negative, instead of saying, oh, well, if we got to rely on Stetson, we're not going to win. Instead of doing that, say, all right, this is what we got. Let's roll into the game, right? Let's buckle up our bootstraps. Let's go fight. And let's try to win a football game and win a national title like we, at least as a staff, believe that we have to do. And that's what they believe they have to do. They have to play Stetson Bennett, keep him under 30 attempts per game, and run the football for at least 160 yards and keep opponents under 24 points. That's the recipe for a national champion. And if you can't do it, then this ain't your year. But that's how it has to happen this year. And that's okay. Okay? That is okay. All right. And just, we talked about, I think it was last week, we went through the numbers, right? We said Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, and Oklahoma, right? These 4 teams that you kind of see or think you might see towards the end of the year, at least in years past, right? Those teams, those are the teams you kind of had to get over the hurdle, right? All those teams have had elite quarterbacks, okay? And at least putting up elite statistics in terms of the quarterback position. You want to throw LSU in there in 2019, and Joe Burrow, special guy, right? And a lot of Georgia fans are sitting there saying, well, why don't we have a guy, right? Why are we here 5 years in, 6 years into the Kirby Smart regime? Why are we sitting here playing the former walk-on? I get that question all the time. Why are we playing the former walk-on? We got 5 stars all up and down the roster. We've recruited the quarterback position, Brooks, as well as Ohio State, better than Alabama. We've done it, here, according to the services. And all I can think about is to tell you this. I don't know what the crux of the issue is. I can't tell you. I really can't. I don't know why Alabama and Georgia and all these guys, or Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State and all these guys are throwing for 4,000 yards a year and you aren't, in terms of those specific quarterbacks. Maybe there's a selection issue. Maybe there's a development issue. I don't know. But here's what I'm telling you. Kirby Smart's gotten to 2 college football playoffs in 5 years, right? 2 of them in 5 seasons, 4 seasons, really. 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. So in 5 seasons, he's reached 2 college football playoffs, and he doesn't have a quarterback. And he's never had a quarterback. Not one like this. Not one like these guys. Not one that, like, history tells you need to win a title or even to get to a title, right? Look at all the other quarterbacks. Okay. All the other quarterbacks that make the college football playoffs, they're really, really good. Most of them are throwing for 3,800 yards. They are. Okay. Desmond Ritter's Desmond Ritter's thrown for like 2,900, maybe 3,000 yards, still an NFL Q, right? So there's quarterbacks everywhere. Georgia doesn't seem to have one yet. They still seem to be playing for a national title. So I think as a Georgia fan, you got 1 or 2, kind of options here. Your first option is you can sit there and bicker and moan and complain about, Kirby can't get the right one. Why can't we get a quarterback? Woe is me. Why don't we have a Heisman contender at the quarterback position? Where is he at? Why isn't this guy playing this? Or you could sit there and say, well, I'll be damned. The moment we do get a Bryce Young, it's freaking over, son. The moment we do get a Joe Burrow, it's freaking over, son. It is over. We're going 12-1, 3 seed in the playoffs with a former walk-on at Q, right? Got a chance to win a national title with a former walk-on at Q. By God, the moment he does find one, it's going to be hell on water for college football. Is it not? It is. 100% correct there. All right, I do have to take one quick break because I got to start flipping cameras around because I didn't do a pre-show and I don't have anybody here to help me. So give me 1 second. We're just going to go black screen. We're just going to go black screen. You know what? I'll riff right here while I get the share screen put up. Sorry, guys. These are things that you're supposed to handle in pre-show, but I was busy writing jokes and trying to be funny pre-show, and I don't know if any of that worked. Well, I wasn't trying to be funny. Coach Austin Brooks was trying to be funny. How about the mustache on that guy? Could you imagine being able to grow facial hair? Because I damn sure couldn't. It's crazy. Got a luscious mustache right there, man. That guy was pimped out. All right, got about 20-ish plays to watch between Ajabo and Hutchinson. So sit tight with us. We should have a good little film study to close out tonight's broadcast, okay? I think we're done on MBR in terms of the rants that I wanted to have tonight. Believe so. Looks like it. All right, let's share a little screenage here. I swear, normally I'm not this slow. I'm just doing a lot. All right. So let's go here just for a second. All right. So here's how we're going to do this. We're not going to leave our notes like we seemingly always do. And we're not going to leave the keyboard like we seemingly always do, even though we just did it and we said we weren't going to do it. I've thought about ways to make this process of things a lot less choppy. But you know what? Everything about my brand has been kind of raw the entire time. So I'm kind of fine with it. I don't know if you guys are fine with it. I'm fine with it. Let's check the shot here. Paint me like one of your French girls, Jack. Not that this is the primary focus of the shot, but nonetheless. All right. So about these two guys, okay? About these two guys. Ajabo had three multi-sack games, rather. Okay, so he was kind of stacking it in terms of the stat sheet over 3 or 4 games, right? Hutchinson, on the other hand, had 2 3-sack games. So he got 6 of his 15.5 sacks, 17.5 sacks, rather, in 2 football games, okay? So the dude racked it up and then was held sackless 4 of his 13 ball games this year. So if you can chip him, if you can figure out a way to control him, you can probably keep him off the stat book for most of the evening, okay? So that's the key. Just kind of control him as much as you can. You're probably not going to stop him, even though, as I just told you, a couple of teams have managed to do so. So we're going to start with play 3 right here, okay? I think this is what it's going to take to win on 3rd and long, Stetson Bennett, okay? What it's going to take is surviving, okay? Is surviving. Watch how long, as my daggum keyboard doesn't appear to want to work now. Holy smokes. All right, watch how long this play takes to develop and for him to get the ball out, okay? Why is my keyboard not working? Why is my keyboard not working? This is the problem with trying things on live platforms. When things go wrong, they go wrong. I mean, real wrong. All right. So we tried to do some film study. Okay. And now you can see I'm now fully glazed. So we're going to call it a night. Holy crap. We'll come back with some film study later. Appreciate you guys.